Okay, picture this. September 9th, 2025, you're high up, really high in the Bolivian Andes. The air in El Alto is thin, you can feel it in your lungs. And the Estadio Municipal, it's just packed, roaring,
Hmm.
a sea of noise and color. The whole nation, honestly, is holding its collective breath. Because what happened next wasn't just, another football match. It was this incredible underdog story, a victory that sent genuine shockwaves through the football world.
It really did. A massive upset.
Absolutely. So, okay, let's unpack this. That's our mission for this deep dive, to get under the skin of how Bolivia, really against all the odds, managed to beat Brazil, football giants Brazil. And doing that, they clinched this vital step towards their World Cup dream. We're going beyond the scoreline here. We want to look at the history, the strategy, the sheer grit that made it happen.
Right. And what's fascinating here is just how rare a win like this is against Brazil, especially, with so much on the line for Bolivia at that exact moment. It was everything. So much pressure. I mean, what do you imagine it takes
Yeah.
for a team to pull off something like that, especially, like you said, at over 4,150 meters above sea level?
Mm-hmm.
That's extreme.
Yeah, extreme is the word. I think it takes, incredible resilience, maybe some tactical smarts, definitely knowing your own unique strengths inside out.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
Okay.
pretty much what we saw play out at the Estadio Municipal de Alto. The atmosphere, it wasn't just noticeable, it was electric. Like the stadium itself was alive, buzzing. You could feel the tension, almost taste it. And then came the moment, the one that's now etched into history. Miguel Terceros stepping up for that penalty. It's the 45th minute plus 4 minutes of added time.
Right at the end of the half.
Exactly. The whole stadium just holds its breath. You could hear a pin drop probably. And then, bang, the net ripples. The place just explodes.
Pandemonium.
Pure joy, a tidal wave of it. And when that final whistle blew, wow, hugs, tears, people chanting long into the night. Bolivia had done it. They were heading to the intercontinental playoffs.
Incredible scenes.
But for Brazil, already qualified, sure, but it was this sobering moment, a reminder that even the giants, they can stumble.
And tactically, it was a masterclass from Bolivia's coach, Antonio Carlos Zago. He didn't just deal with the altitude, he used it as a weapon, that compact 4-3-3 they played.
Yeah.
It wasn't just about sitting back, it was about being solid, yes, but conserving energy for these really sharp, quick counterattacks. He knew Brazil's players, even a rotated side, would struggle with constant high-intensity pressure up there.
Makes sense.
Goalkeeper Carlos Lampe, he was immense, a wall. Made some absolute crucial saves. And the defenders, Luis Joaquin, Bruno Miranda, so solid.
They had to be.
And in midfield, players like Romero Vaca and Timoteo Verdecchia, they just harried Brazil's creative players relentlessly, given no time, no space in that thin air. Then up front, Terceros, the goal scorer, and Roberto Fernandez, who won the penalty, they used the conditions perfectly.
And Brazil's side of things, Carlo Ancelotti was relatively new, right?
That's right. Ancelotti had taken over. They had rotated the squad because, qualification was already in the bag. You had players like Esteban, Rafinha, João Pedro starting, Alisson Becker in goal. Still a hugely talented team.
Oh, absolutely. It's still Brazil. Even a rotated Brazil expects to win, always.
Always. So this loss, it definitely registered.
And that win, its importance just skyrockets when you look at the whole CONMEBOL qualifying picture. That South American group, it's notoriously brutal. That's not an exaggeration.
Not at all. It's a marathon.
10 nations, round robin, home and away, 18 matches over 2 years, September 23 to September 25, just relentless. The stakes, top 6, go straight to the World Cup, USA, Canada, Mexico 2026.
But 7th place?
7th place gets you that lifeline, the intercontinental playoff, and that's exactly what Bolivia was fighting tooth and nail for.
Yeah.
So going into that final day, September 9th, most of the direct spots were sorted. Argentina, Ecuador, Brazil, Uruguay, Colombia, Paraguay they were in.
Done and dusted.
Which left that 7th spot. It was basically a 2-horse race, Venezuela holding a slender 1-point lead, and Bolivia right behind them, the crunch. Bolivia needed to beat Brazil, and they needed Venezuela to slip up against Colombia.
And the games were happening at the same time, right? Adding to the drama.
Exactly. Simultaneous kickoffs, massive pressure. Bolivia hosting Brazil, Venezuela hosting Colombia. For Bolivia, Verde, victory wasn't just hoped for, it was absolutely essential. And somehow they delivered.
And that's where the story gets even wilder, because while Bolivia were pulling off this miracle against Brazil, Colombia were doing them a massive favor over in Barranquilla.
Ah, the Venezuela game.
They absolutely hammered Venezuela.
Yeah.
Won 6-3. Luis Diaz was just on fire, scored 4 goals. Incredible performance. Yuri Mina and John Cordoba chipped in too.
Wow, 6-3.
So Venezuela's loss there basically sealed it. Bolivia's win against Brazil meant they leapfrogged Venezuela, finished 7th with 20 points, 6 wins, 2 draws, 10 losses across the campaign.
Incredible turnaround.
Yeah.
And Brazil?
Brazil ended up with 28 points, 8 wins, 4 draws, 6 losses. They got their direct ticket, of course. But interestingly, it was their lowest points total in the modern CONMEBOL qualifying format.
Really? Lowest ever in this format.
Yeah, which definitely raises a few eyebrows, maybe some questions for them looking ahead to the World Cup itself.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? When you see a team's whole journey, all those ups and downs across 2 years, how much does that whole narrative make a final moment like Bolivia's win feel even bigger, more resonant?
Oh, absolutely. It adds so much weight. It's not just one result. It's the climax of this long, arduous campaign. And Bolivia's story is so tied up with their geography, isn't it?
Completely. The highest footballing nation. They've always relied on altitude. The Estadio Hernando Siles in La Paz, that's 3,637 meters. Now El Alto, even higher. It's their fortress.
Almost literally unbeatable there sometimes.
Almost. Their World Cup history is, well, it's sparse, but inspiring in its own way. They were there in 1930, 1950, both times by invitation, mind you. Their last qualification on merit was 1994 for the World Cup in the USA. And that campaign itself is legendary in Bolivia.
The one where they beat Brazil.
Exactly. Under the Spanish coach Xavier Azcargorta, they beat Brazil 2-0 in La Paz. That was the first time ever Brazil had lost a World Cup qualifier. Huge moment. They had stars like Marco El Diablo, Echeverri, Erwin Sanchez, national heroes.
Icons.
But since '94, it's been tough. They missed out on 8 straight World Cups. And here's a kicker. Across their 3 World Cup appearances, they've never actually won a match. Not one.
0 wins at the finals. That's quite a statistic. And it makes this current journey leading up to the win against Brazil even more remarkable because this 2026 campaign, it was a proper roller coaster.
They badly, didn't they?
Yeah, they were really struggling early on, bottom of the table. But then they started to build something. Crucial home wins started coming. They beat Peru 1-0, Chile 2-0, and hammered Venezuela 4-0. You saw momentum building.
Zago's influence.
Definitely. Antonio Carlos Zago, the coach, he brought in discipline, a clear tactical plan, and did a good job blending the youth like Terceros, who's only 22, with the really experienced guys like Lampe, the keeper, who's 39.
That blend is key.
But, and it's a big but, you have to mention their Achilles heel. Their away form was woeful.
I remember seeing those results.
Just one win on the road the entire campaign. Conceded something like 35 goals away from home. It just hammers home how absolutely vital those home games, that altitude advantage, and especially that specific win against Brazil really were.
It does. It puts it all in perspective.
And it's fascinating, isn't it? A nation of 12 million, limited resources compared to the giants. But they leverage this unique geographical edge to compete. It's about playing smart, playing to your strengths.
It really is. Okay, let's flip the coin and look at Brazil's campaign for a minute, because it shows even the absolute best, the perennial qualifiers, face their own turbulence.
True, their record is insane, qualified for every World Cup since 1930. Unmatched.
It's incredible consistency, but this cycle, 2025 specifically, was surprisingly rocky for them at times. They had that heavy 4-1 loss to Argentina back in March, a 1-1 draw with Uruguay late in 2024, not typical Brazil results.
Wow.
Then Carlo Ancelotti arrived in May. That felt like a huge move, a real coup, people were calling it, bringing that calm, experienced head after a bit of a shaky start to the qualifiers.
A steady hand on the tiller.
And actually, under Ancelotti, they'd been looking pretty good leading up to that Bolivia game. Kept clean sheets, got wins against Colombia 2-1, that was beat Paraguay 1-0, and just 5 days before the Bolivia match, they demolished Chile 3-0 at the Maracana. Looked sharp.
Yeah, goals from Estevam, Paqueta, Bruno Guimaraes. They looked like they were clicking.
Which makes that loss in El Alto even more, well, stark.
Definitely. And Ancelotti himself, he didn't make excuses afterwards. He basically said, look, we had the ball, but we couldn't break them down. Yes, altitude's a factor, but credit to Bolivia, they fought like lions.
Fair assessment.
It sums it up, really. Even with qualification sorted, even with some rotation, it was a big lesson for Brazil. A reminder of how tough CONMEBOL is, top to bottom, and how the underdog can always bite.
Never take anything for granted.
Exactly. Which kind of leads to a bigger question, maybe for any big team heading into a World Cup. What does an unexpected loss like this, even when qualification isn't on the line, tell you about the mental side, about preparation? It has to be a bit of a wake-up call, right?
Oh, massive wake-up call. No doubt they'll be thinking about that. But for Bolivia, This victory just throws open a door, doesn't it? A
Hmm.
really exciting new chapter. What happens next for them?
The intercontinental playoffs.
Right. March 2026. It's not just one game, is it? It's this mini tournament.
Yeah, single elimination. 6 teams fighting for the last 2 spots at the World Cup.
Yeah.
You'll likely have someone like New Caledonia from Oceania, teams from Asia, Africa, and 2 from CONCACAF in North and Central America. It's a final hurdle.
A tough hurdle, and the context for Bolivia is huge. Their last World Cup was 1994. That's 32 years ago.
A whole generation.
A whole generation. The dream isn't just qualifying for their 4th World Cup. It's bigger now, maybe. It's about finally getting that first win at a World Cup finals. That 0-win record hangs over them. This win against Brazil, it must feel like maybe, just maybe.
It fuels the belief.
Yeah.
And connecting it back, that match against Brazil wasn't just about points. It felt symbolic of football itself, its unpredictability.
Yeah.
You've got Bolivia, nation of 12 million, punching way above their weight, outfighting a superpower. And Brazil, with all their history, all their talent valued in billions, getting a lesson in humility.
That's why we watch, isn't it?
Exactly. It's these stories. Underdogs rising, giants falling, dreams taking flight.
Right.
Even at 4,150 meters, it reminds you why you love this game.
It really does. So September 9th, 2025, Bolivia proved it again. Anything can happen in football. It's this incredible testament to collective spirit, sheer willpower, and yes, using every single advantage you have, like that home crowd and that thin air. So what does this all mean for you, listening? Well, maybe it's just a reminder that sometimes the biggest fights aren't won just with skill or money. Sometimes it's about heart, belief, and playing the hand you're dealt better than anyone else.
Well said. And it leaves us with a big question as Bolivia heads towards those playoffs in March 2026, doesn't it? Do you think that altitude advantage, combined with this incredible spirit they showed in El Alto, will finally be enough? Enough for them to not just qualify, but to finally get that elusive first World Cup Finals victory?
That's the million-dollar question.
It is. We'll definitely be watching. We encourage you to follow their journey too. It promises to be absolutely fascinating.